Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Oh, look at that doorway. Major red alert. Your life is changing. This is a situation that is requiring your immediate action, right? This is a doorway to a future. A new future, one that you must create yourself. It's kind of like saying the old stuff is gone. The old stuff that is not meant for us, the old pain and suffering, the old life has served its purpose. It's time to move forward. Right? We're going to do a divine doorway card for this one right off the bat. We're not even going to wait. This is the spiritual alarm clock, right? This is the rebirth, reawakening, the baptism by fire. To go through this doorway to our future, we have to leave behind everything that's not ours, right? Jude's song, a reminder for even the most hopeless of lost cases, you can find peace within the strangest of places. I like that. That's interesting, right? This is someone who is ready for change, right? This is someone who is taking a chance on themselves. You've heard you've heard the call. The trumpets are blowing loudly in your face. Your spiritual alarm clock is buzzing right next to your head in bed, and we can't hit the snooze. We can't say no. We can't just hide under the covers, right? We're answering the call. Let's put this card into more context. We've got the scary moon, another threshold card, another doorway card, right? Interesting. We have the 8 of Cups. That's what we're leaving behind. That's what we're leaving behind, right? The hopeless and that lost feeling, right? And it's interesting that we have, this is my kind of hopeless card, right? Kind of gives me the feeling of hopelessness, right? Things are bad, things are not getting better. And this is for even the most hopeless of lost cases. You can find peace within the strangest of places. So interesting that we get that card as our recent past, right? We have a step in a new direction here with an Ace of Pentacles. You have the Hierophant, an 8 of Wands, a 4 of Wands, a Queen of Wands, a 6 of Wands. Really fiery activation. You are unlocking your fate here. Major red alert. Amazing changes are ahead for you. Victory, success, right? Teamwork, cooperation. This is really like we're activating our energy here. We're activating our true spiritual potential. Let's select a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here with Jimbo, the Lizard King, right on top. I can do anything except look at that card until the very end of the reading. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during the reading you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, let's look around the room here. We've got 1, 2, 3 majors. Okay. The way forward into your, kind of look at this as like a true self energy, right? The Hierophant. To be in true alignment with your true self. Got to go through this doorway. To go through this doorway, you've got to overcome your fear. Okay, you've got to take a chance. It kind of feels like a dark, scary forest, because maybe on the other side of this, it's like it's too bright. We almost like can't focus and see what really is going to be on the other side of that. Okay, Usually with the divine doorway of the Eon card, it's kind of like, well, I can see what's on the other side. So I'm very excited to go through this doorway. I know what I got to leave behind. I know I can't bring all my baggage with me. There are things here that I can't carry through this door. Anything that isn't essential to your future is going to be left behind. So it's challenging, but it's motivating because I can see the future and I want it. But with the moon, this is a dark, scary doorway. Maybe we should do another doorway card. This is a dark, scary doorway that we cannot see the other side of. Okay? I feel like we have to be very honest about what our fears are. Okay? The morning memory. Its healing gift runs a destined course. The morning dawn, our inspired source. The morning memory. Meditate under the sun. Its healing gift runs a destined course. The morning dawn, our inspired source. Okay? I feel like with the moon card here, because it has a little solar disk at the bottom, that we're experiencing a major awakening. We're crossing a major threshold in our life. And it's difficult and it's exciting and also a little scary. Right? It's kind of it's a mixed bag. We know that this is the way forward. We know we have to, but we can't help but feel a little fearful about it. It's uncertain. There's kind of scary things. We don't know really what we're going to have to confront, the challenges that we're going to meet with. We can see how much we want to go to the party, but we're like, it's a little peoply out there. We realize that our challenges, our fears are inside of us, that the reality of the situation is this is good for you. You want to do this. We can't let our fears hold us back. The sun here must rise. And I feel like this is you and your true self rising to the occasion and chasing the shadows away, chasing the fears away. Yeah, this is extraordinary. So we have our three majors, and in the future position, I feel like this is a real accomplishment. I feel like in the near future, this is kind of like an expertise. This is you, I don't know, like giving a lecture. This is you up on stage, This is you sharing your wisdom with the world in a way. So you're kind of taking a chance on yourself. We're taking a big risk. We're facing our fears, going through a doorway, and putting ourselves out there. Right? The Hierophant is somebody who can teach. It's a wise person that has something to offer the world. Okay? And you may be kind of, as a lot of us are, kind of thinking, I can't teach anything because I'm still learning myself. I can't heal others when I need healing, right? So we kind of have this wounded healer vibe, or even this kind of, the student teacher kind of person, right? The sage that is also like kind of still an apprentice, The majors, then we have fire, 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 fire. We've got a little bit of water. We don't have any air cards, and we've got our earth up here. Okay. As far as the water and earth goes, it is this stagnating water that's preventing us from moving forward. In other words, there's fear here too. This is restrictions. This is the kind of the emotional limitations that are trying to hold us back. It's kind of like you drop a coin into the swampy water, and it's going to be real hard to find it again. This is Saturn in Pisces. This is a very restrictive energy. Okay. This to me feels like yesterday's energy, and it's a feeling of hopelessness. It's a feeling of, this is my life and it's never going to get better. This is feeling like I've come as far as I could come, and it wasn't far enough. Sad. It doesn't make me feel good. But this was yesterday. This is behind you, and we have to leave this behind. This kind of feeling, this kind of attitude can't come with you into the future here. So we're taking the step. This is, we've heard the trumpets, we've heard the alarm clock. This is when you first plant your feet on the cold, cold ground when you get out of bed. It's the most startling of steps. It's the most startling sensation. But once you're up and your back is straight and you're moving, things get a lot easier. Okay, we start to get warmed up. Once we get dressed, once we put on the uniform or the robes of the Hierophant, we're sort of getting into our energy here. we're getting into the character in a way, right? And I can relate. I think I'm a solar Cancer. I think the Cancer readings are very much meant for me as much as they are for you. So I hope you don't mind that I sometimes bring the Cancer readings to my own experience. But with the Hierophant, I'm doing these tarot readings, and when I wake up in the morning, it's kind of hard to get out of bed, but I get up, I get moving, and as I'm coming down the stairs, and I'm starting to get into the bathroom where I kind of change my clothes, I'm kind of, sometimes I'm in a bit of an 8 of Cups where I just say, I don't know what what we're going to talk about. I don't feel like I'm worthy of doing these readings because I don't know anything. I'm still learning. I'm still suffering. I still need healing. And so I kind of limit myself. I'm kind of discouraging myself with the 8 of Cups, and I feel like we do that a lot. We sort of feel ourselves and think ourselves out of stepping up and doing what we need to do, because, well, yeah, we're still suffering. We still need healing. I'm still learning. I'm not an expert at anything, right? But I'll tell you what, as soon as I take off the bathrobe, sorry for the visual, and put on my shirt, or put on my jacket, put on the tie if I'm wearing the tie, put on this is a Tibetan prayer wheel. As soon as I put on the sort of the trappings, the robes, right, of my work, I don't know, I'm in a different energy. I feel like something is flowing through me. So these are kind of the these are the magical instruments that we need. These are the tools. This is why when you're doing spiritual work, you're doing ceremonial magic, you put on the robes, you put on the trappings. It puts you into that energy. And then you feel like you're the master magician when you're, and that's why when you're doing, musicians, let's say, you kind of have a uniform you wear. You have they call it a costume, I guess, but you have the magical tools, the magical robes of your craft. Okay? And that's what I kind of feel like is going on with this one, that we're stepping into this role and we're filling the shoes, right? It may be some really big shoes that we've set up for ourselves, but you're stepping into them and you're growing into it. You don't want to walk around in shoes that are too small for you, right? So I think we're taking a chance. We're going through this doorway. We're making a huge change, and we're stepping into a role that may be too big for us. That's okay. Room to grow, right? And I feel like this is that kind of magic where once we put on, and that's, you dress for the job you want, right? Not for the job you have. You dress for success. All these kinds of phrases that they say. I used to wear shorts and everything, even in the wintertime, and people would ask me, God, why are you wearing shorts? And I say, well, you know what they say, you dress for the weather you want, right? And people look at me like I was crazy, but now, maybe not so often. But I feel like it's true. I feel like once we collect around ourselves the implements of the craft, we get transported into a different energy. We become that person. Okay? And we can still be in need of healing. We can still feel like we're still suffering. I don't feel adequate all the time to the task. I don't feel like I'm up to it. I don't feel like I'm capable enough of it. Certainly don't feel like an expert at anything. But we're stepping into the role. And that's what we're doing with this doorway. We're stepping through the doorway, facing our fears, and we're stepping into this new role in life. Okay? And I think this is glorious, right? You may be stepping into a new job, a new relationship. You may be stepping into a new role as like a teacher or someone who is offering information to other people. Maybe you're even stepping into like a counseling role or some kind of a supportive role or something, maybe professionally, maybe just in your personal life, or a volunteer role, something like that. But the path of the serpent, it's kind of like once you step into the role, all of this fire gets activated in you. Suddenly, you expand, right? This is the 8 of Wands. It's pressure coming from inside. We're expanding from the inside, Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Readings are totally free. So this is like you step into these shoes that are too big for you, and we just kind of, we just grow into them. This is an expansion coming from inside of us. In other words, we're rising to the occasion. We may not feel adequate. Oh gosh, I got to go and give a presentation on, in front of the class. Oh God, what am I going to do? I can't do this. I don't know what I'm talking about. But we adjust our glasses, straighten our tie, if you wear that stuff to school, and you walk up to the front, and suddenly your energy, your spirit, your confidence, your creativity, you rise to the occasion. That's what we've got here. Yeah. And it's excitement, it's nerves, it's an upset tummy. I always get the upset tummy when I'm nervous, It's cancer, right? It rules the stomach area anyway. So, we can turn those kinds of butterflies, right, or like the spiders in our tummies, we can turn that into excitement. We can turn that into just energy. It's like just turn it on and let it go. Don't overthink it. And you know what? You don't have any swords cards here. So I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. I feel like you know already what I'm talking about. You're able to turn your excitement into movement, right? Turn the anxiety into movement. And you're not overthinking it. It's kind of like you shut off your mind here. And I mean that in the best way possible. Right? We've shut off our conscious mind, the mind of doubts, the mind of worries, the mind of I don't know what I'm talking about. And we've just turned the energy on, we've let it flow. Okay? Turn it on, we've let it flow. I used to drink a lot of caffeine, right? And I always thought it was the caffeine that was giving me the sort of, the energy that rises to the occasion, But for the last, it's been a couple weeks. It's been maybe a week and a half now where I've been off coffee. Even my tea, I'm drinking corn silk tea. It's non-caffeinated herbal tea. Tastes okay. But the idea here is I wanted to see how much of my energy is just am I just loaded up on caffeine, and that's what's kind of making it possible for me to do what I do, every day. Not that I think I'm doing anything extraordinary, but just for me personally, I want to know that this is me, that this is something that something deeper that's not kind of augmented by something like caffeine, right? So for me personally, I'm getting off the caffeine, and to still have this energy that surges and rises to the occasion is, it's a nice thing to see, It kind of makes it feel like we are capable of this. This is something that's coming from inside of us. It's not something that's artificially, supported, right? And so I feel like this is your energy too, and you're not overthinking it. You're turning it on. You're letting the energy rise to the occasion. You're filling the shoes. You're filling in the clothes, right? The robes, the role that you're in. You're rising to that occasion. And now with the Eight of Wands, you're able to get it done. With the Four of Wands, you're able to conclude the task. You're able to complete the work, complete the circuit, right? And the circuit there is basically saying that when you face your fears and you force yourself to rise to the occasion, whether you need caffeine or not, you rise to the occasion and you get it done, that victory is reinforcing that kind of, like a dopamine circuit, right? It's given you more confidence. Forcing yourself to rise to the occasion, completing the task, you get a little bit more confidence in the bucket, and then you do it again, and you're building yourself up in this natural way. It's kind of it's the dopamine circuit, right? The dopamine into like adrenaline circuit. And the Four of Wands is also a card of closure. Okay. So I feel like we're out of this sort of zone, that we're choosing not to do this anymore, not to feel this way anymore. And we are instead finding ways to boost our own confidence. And this can be a lot of little things. Sometimes this is like, you want to make yourself feel better? Make a checklist for the day. Give yourself a to-do list. Put really simple stuff on there. Wake up, check. Use the bathroom, check. All right. Have a glass of water, check. Have something to eat, check. right? Text somebody I care about. Check. You know, we're getting motivated by our accomplishing something. Every time we set out on a task and we complete the task, we get a little boost. Yeah, we get a little boost. And we can start with very simple things. If we're having trouble getting motivated, if that's what was back here, feeling of hopelessness, stagnation, that sort of thing, a lack of confidence, we can intentionally boost our confidence by setting these little goals for ourselves. Very attainable, realistic things that I can do today. What can I do today that'll give me a little boost if I complete it? And say, well, I want to empty the dishwasher. Okay, I'm going to put that on my list. And then you force yourself to rise to the occasion. You go and you empty the dishwasher. And then when you shut that dishwasher and you hear that click, you get a boost from that. And it's simple, silly stuff. Simple, silly stuff, but it's effective. Okay? So sometimes just the act of putting on the clothes that get you in that energy, give you the energy, you know, it gives you what you need to get the job done. You know? And I don't know if this is just me, but I've always felt that in my life. When I don't like the clothes I'm wearing, or I don't feel comfortable in the clothes that I'm wearing, my confidence is just not there. When I'm out in the world, I'm shy, I'm quiet, I'm avoiding people, I don't feel good. But when I like what I'm wearing, when I feel like I'm dressing the way I want to dress, and I know it's clothes, it's superficial, doesn't mean much. But what it does for us inside, I think, is very important. Okay? When you feel comfortable in the clothes you're wearing, you're going to feel more comfortable out in the world doing the things you're doing. Okay? Very simple stuff, but it's magic. Very practical magic. That's why the magician wears the robes. That's why you have the symbols and the candles and the incense. It's all to put you in a state of mind where you believe in the magic that you're performing. The tarot is always trying to teach you how to become the magician, how to remember that you're the magician. Okay? You may have to start with some silly things. Now, what we're trying to avoid is hubris, arrogance, a false pride, an overconfident kind of person, because, you know, anybody could recognize someone like that, right? Someone like a Queen of Wands is obviously hiding the insecurities, and you can see it so obviously. So we're not trying to do that. That's what we're trying to avoid, right? We're trying to have a calm confidence of the Six of Wands, right? Six of Wands is like coming to know ourselves more and really, really seeing what we're capable of doing, seeing how strong and how powerful we are, remembering, don't forget, Cancer, that you are magic. Okay? Because that's what the Six of Wands really is, realizing that, hey, if I apply my will to something, it'll happen. Whoa, like that's magic, right? Causing change and conformity with our will. If I set my intention and I do my work and follow through and I complete the circuit, it gets done. Wow. I had the intention that I want an empty dishwasher. Set the intention. The dishwasher will be empty. When I go, I empty it out. And when I hear that click, it's like, that was magic. That was an act of magic. Okay. I know it's silly. Sometimes we need that, especially if we're trying to go through this divine doorway and take the chance on the bigger role that we're talking. This is the thing that's not silly. This is the thing that is serious. This isn't just you being, cleaning out the dishwasher or whatever. And when we're coming from this and going to this is a big shift. This is really, you're unlocking your fate because you do have this magic and this wisdom and this kind of authority and this expertise in you. Everybody has the potential to be an expert at something. Everybody has the potential to be like that high level of something. You just got to find your thing. And you can find your thing but still not reach this if we don't have that sort of self-confidence. If we're insecure, if we're if we're in this kind of, this is what we're leaving behind. Okay. So the Six of Wands is that kind of getting to know ourselves and getting to really appreciate and having a almost, an expanding ego, but in a very, I think, a very calm way, a very humble way, not an overinflated ego, but a fortified ego, an ego that is strong and secure in itself and can follow the divine guidance, because we may get a download of our true will from Spirit, but if our heart we're not feeling like we're capable of it, we're going to shrink. We're going to ignore the call. We're going to deny the call. We're going to reject the call. We need a fortified ego that can answer the call and can say, all right, Spirit, I hear you, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to flip the switch, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to rise to the occasion. I'm going to fill the shoes that have been laid out for me. This is you stepping into your destiny. This is you unlocking your fate. Let's look at the mystery card. The Star, the Wheel of Fortune, the Chariot, the Universe, the 9 or the 10 of Cups, or the 9 or 10 of Pentacles. Let's see what we have. A Page of Cups. Page of Cups, to me, is kind of like we're allowing ourselves to feel what we feel. So when we have this Eight of Cups, we're not trying to just deny it and say, no, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. I'm going to be overly confident, right? So that I can get this job done and everybody's going to think I'm perfectly capable of everything. And so that's kind of a false bravado, and that happens when we try to suppress this. We try to ignore this, and it's going to come out as a very obvious, overcompensation for something, right? We all can see those kinds of people. So the Page or the Princess of Cups here is saying, I'm allowing myself to feel how I feel, giving ourselves the freedom to feel. Some days I'm going to feel real crappy. Well, that's okay, but I'm gonna still do my very best. I'm going to try. I'm gonna step into the shoes. I'm going to step into the uniform, step into the role, and I'm going to do my best to turn the energy on, but I'm not going to deny how I feel. And I think this is very important, because if we do try to deny it or ignore it or suppress it, it's going to come back to haunt us in ways we don't want it to, right? So this is then giving ourselves the freedom to feel all of our feelings, but not to be so attached to any of them. Kind of like the fish in the percolator, right? Oh, hi, how you doing? Okay, I don't need you right now, thanks. So recognizing the feelings and accepting them, not judging them, not getting angry. Oh, why is there a fish in my coffee or my herbal tea? But also then not saying, oh, there's a fish in my percolator. I guess I've got to swallow the fish. I guess I have to consume that. I guess I have to identify that and let it become who I am. We don't have to identify with every feeling we feel. It's okay to feel them, but then let them kind of pass as like waves on the ocean. They're going to come upon us. They're going to wash out again. Another one's going to come and it's going to wash out. Okay. I've gotten used to that. I've accepted that. I know how that works, and I kind of got my sea legs a little bit, and then we can turn on the confidence, and we can rise to the occasion, and we can meet the challenges of this unfolding destiny of yours. Spirit's calling you to action here, and let's go back to where we started with that divine doorway. And the Eon card, that is the spiritual alarm clock. Spirit is calling you to your true path. And we've got to rise to the occasion. Yeah. And you are. I'm preaching to the choir. We're going to do an extended reading. Okay, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There is a link down in the video description. New readings for Cancer, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch, if you want to watch the readings at the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com, okay? Or you can find me on Patreon. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.